Welcome to ChatterUP. In this video, I'm going to show you the different sections of ChatterUP and provide some quick tips and tricks in making your use of ChatterUP a success. The main purpose of ChatterUP is to provide you access to social opportunities and to provide you the ability to manage your social brand. Currently, your dealership's Twitter and Facebook accounts are linked to ChatterUP. Both Twitter and Facebook have rules set up determining the type of content that is accessible by third parties, or in your case by ChatterUP. So depending on the section that you're in, you will either see Twitter content, Facebook content, or both types of content. Let's get started. When you first log into ChatterUP and you access the home page, this is what you will see. We can break down the page into three sections. The first is the action bar at the very top, where you can click on the ChatterUP logo to get you back home whenever you need to. You can click on the post button to post to Twitter and Facebook directly. And you can also click on the welcome message in the upper right hand corner, which will allow you to change your password. Now, if for some reason you have forgotten your password, you will need to contact ChatterUP directly in order for us to reset it. This bar is always present up here at the very top, regardless of the page you are on. So I'll go ahead and jump back home. The second section is called the navigation menu, as this will allow you to quickly jump to any page within ChatterUP. You have the home navigation item, which will always direct you back home, just as the ChatterUP icon did above that. You may be asking yourself, why is it we provide you the ability to get back home from two places? And I'll show you exactly why we do that here in a little bit. The next two navigation items both have sub-navigation items within them. So clicking on opportunities, you will see the sub-navigation items are shoppers, service, make specific, and for sale. Within brand management, we have at you, customers, community, and following. And I will talk about each one of these sections in more detail later on in the presentation. The last two sections within the navigation menu are the engaged section, which is very important, and also post manager. Just like the action bar at the top, the navigation menu will always display regardless of the page you are on. The other thing that is nice about the navigation menu is that it is what we call a smart menu, meaning if I were to shrink this down, i.e. viewing it on my iPad, my tablet, or more importantly on my phone, what you will see is the navigation item will in fact turn, or shall I say the navigation menu will turn into a more functional menu. So if I click on it, it will expand this way, and then it will allow me to access those same sections. Now, this is the reason that we have the ability to get home both from here and from here. So again, if you're on your phone and you want to quickly get back to the home page, rather than having to click this and click on home, all you'll have to do is click on ChatterUP, and that'll get you right back home. Let's now take a look at the pages of ChatterUP. The main page is the home page, and within the home page there are three sections: opportunities, brand management, and the statistics section at the bottom. Within both the opportunities section and the brand management section are links to specific pages. So for example, within opportunities, if I click on shoppers, that's going to take me directly to the car shoppers page. I can also access the car shopper page simply by clicking on opportunities within the navigation menu and clicking on shoppers. The same is true within brand management from the home page. If, for example, I click on community, and it'll take me to the community page, and the same is true by which I could click on brand management within the navigation menu, and I could click on community, and that would get me right there. I'm going to go ahead and jump back home. At the very bottom here, you have some statistics that you can look at. There's nothing to click on, there's no reports that'll run or anything like that. It's just quick at a glance what's going on. So it's going to show you how many tweets you've sent out, how many scheduled posts you have, and notice this is the next 7 days right here. Your return on investment, so you'll see how many engaged opportunities we have, Twitter mentions, how many customers we have, and then clout, how many people are following you on Twitter, and how many Facebook likes do you have on your page right now. So let's take a look at these pages just at a high level. Shoppers is going to show you anybody who is interested in purchasing or leasing a vehicle either now or in the near future. Service is going to show you anybody who is looking to have some sort of service work done, whether their car broke down, their check engine light is on, they need new tires, new brakes, whatever it is, you're going to see all of those posts in here within service. Make specific. These are going to be tweets that have been sent out there regarding any makes that you sell there at your store. So if you're a Ford store, you'll see Ford specific tweets there. If you're Mazda, Mazda specific, Lexus, whatever it is. For sale is going to be anybody selling their vehicle, anything at all. At you is going to be when somebody mentions your dealership by name. So if I go in there and say at ABC Motors, and that's you, you are going to see that tweet or at some point here in the near future, that Facebook post right in here. Customers is going to be anybody that you've marked as a customer in the system, and you will see all of their tweets in here. Community is going to be anybody within your community that either has a birthday, an anniversary, graduation, new baby, any of those milestone events that are occurring. And it's a great way for you to interact with your community. Following is going to be anybody that you're following. So any tweets that are out there from somebody that you are following today, you will see those in the following section. And that is sort of the high level of those 8 main pages there. And now let's dive in and take a look at them. This is where the rubber meets the road, so to speak. And that's because we're going to cover the meat of the application. These 8 sections right here will allow you to interact directly with potential opportunities and people within your community. So there's a couple of things that you need to know before we jump into it. There are 2 reasons why people use social media. The first is they use it to share information. So maybe they learned something new or they saw a cool tip or trick for something that they're doing and they want to share that with the world. The other reason that they use social media is because they want to be heard. They want people to notice that they're there. And so what we want to do is we want to be very good listeners and we ultimately want to engage with people. So what we don't want to do and what they're not looking to receive is spam. So what we don't want to do when we get into these pages is just to start spamming people. It is very important that we try and interact with these individuals, and we can do that in a few different ways. So let's jump in there and take a look at the very first page, Shoppers. So jumping into the Car Shoppers page, what you're going to see is a series of cards like this. And depending on the section that you're in, you will either see Twitter information and or you'll see Twitter and Facebook information. And because we are in the Car Shoppers page, we are looking specifically at those individuals who have placed a tweet out there via Twitter who are interested in either leasing or purchasing a vehicle either right now or in the near future. So notice when I hover over a card, it's going to highlight it. Because this is a tweet, you will see you have 3 options. You have the ability to reply, you have the ability to retweet, and you also have the ability to follow this person. And then down below you will see that in this case we have not yet replied to this individual. So what is the goal of this? How do we use this effectively? That's a great question. Well, your goal is to engage the individual, the person. What do you mean engage? Engage means where I go out and I reply to somebody, like in this case it says, this person says, going to find a new car tomorrow and I have no one to go with me. Well, what I can do is I can go in and I can reply to her tweet. And I can say, I hope you find someone to go with you. Do you have a specific vehicle that you are looking for? So notice a couple of things with this. I went in and I typed in a response to her message. And the big thing is here, because again, we are trying to engage people. I have asked a question. So if this person is going to reply to me, they are far more likely to do so because I've asked a question in here. Now, you may not necessarily ask a question in every case, But for a majority of people that you consider to be an opportunity, you're going to ask a question because, again, you want to get them into a dialogue. A few things also you'll notice in this, because I'm in the reply section, you'll notice that my character count has gone down. You do have only so many characters within Twitter. It's 140. I do have the ability to associate an image in here, should I choose. I also have the ability to schedule something in the future. So if, for example, this was somebody's birthday and I wanted to tweet happy birthday to them, I could do that, and then I could reply again and schedule a reply for a year from now, for example. Or if you're taking a look at this at 1 in the morning and you'd rather not it look like something's coming from at 1 in the morning, you could go and schedule it for tomorrow morning. So just those things to keep in mind. Once you reply, and if I were to reply to this, then what you would see is that would switch from no reply to replied, letting you know that you have in fact replied to the message. The other option you have in here is to retweet. So maybe there is a piece of information that you saw a particular car shopper had put out there that you wanted to share. Now you may not do it in this section, but in one of the sections you likely might, and all you would do is hit retweet, and depending on the character length, you could add something to it. Most of the time when you are doing a retweet, you wouldn't, and you would go ahead and hit retweet. So there, again, this is going to be more so like in the community section, or somebody that you're following put out some piece of information that you felt was interesting that you want to share with the people that are following you. You also have the ability to follow people. So if I were to click follow, that would shift them to following, and then I would be able to see them within my following section, meaning any tweets that this particular individual puts out there going forward, I will be able to see it. If I no longer want to follow them, I can simply click on that and that will disappear. The other thing that you can do from the section here before we move on is to access their Twitter account directly. So when I click on their username, it'll bring you to this page. If this person were a customer, you could mark them as a customer. Marking them as a customer will make them appear in your customer section, meaning any tweets that they put out there going forward, you will see within the customer section. One final thing that you can do is you could view their actual Twitter screen by clicking on their name. Then you can see her other tweets right here. And I'll go ahead and close that. Goal here, reply, ask a question. Because if they do respond to you, then when you come back in here, it'll actually say engaged at the bottom. And when you click on engaged, you will see them in here. And it's from here then that you hope to get into a conversation where you can go back and forth with them, and you would have the ability to go ahead and get them into your store. So that's the Shoppers tab. Next up is Service. So let's take a look at Service real quick. Service here is going to show us anybody who's interested in getting some sort of service work done, whether they want to or not. You're going to see things like check engine light is on, car broke down, need new tires, need an oil change, just got in a wreck, hate my car problems, things like that. If I take a look at this second person here, it says, I hate car trouble. And what you can do is you can go in and hit reply. And when you hit reply to this, our goal here is to, again, get her to engage with us. So I might say something like, car trouble definitely is no fun. Is there anything we can do to help? And again, I've empathized with her and I've asked her a question. Again, the hope is that she will then respond to me and I will have her engaged and I can find out if there's any way that my business can help her, i.e. driving her to my store. If we take a look at this one, my car broke down today. I am too poor to afford hot water, yet alone fix a car. You might reply and say, I completely understand. Feel free to bring your vehicle in and we will inspect it for free. Any work that needs to be done, Oh, see, hit my character limit. That's where I have to be careful on that. 10% off any work that is needed. Oh, get rid of that period. So there you go. And it's okay. Because this is Twitter, you don't necessarily have to format everything correctly because you only have so much room. So you then hit reply, and away it would go. So in a situation like that, and this is going to be very true with a lot of your service situations, you may include a link to your service coupons. You may say, hey, bring this tweet in or show this tweet to my service manager and get an extra 10% off. You want to incentivize them not only to engage with you, but to also use your dealership for their service needs. So just keep that in mind. Definitely a lot of good things you can do there. We'll jump back to home. So make specific, as I was saying, depending on the type of store that you are and the makes that you sell, you will see any of the tweets specific to that make. So in this case, I'm taking a look at Mazda. So of course, a lot of the things that you'll see might very well be your competition. So, but anybody and anywhere you can do, or a couple of things that you can do in this section, you might very well find something that is cool that you want to share. So Miata Coupe for 2015 looks nice, and there's a link to it. You might decide to retweet that to your followers, and you retweet that. That'll post out to your Twitter account. There it is. I just retweeted that, and that went out. Okay, you may not necessarily reply. You may decide that you want to reply to jump in because you know something about that particular question that the person asked, or whatever information they were sharing, you felt like it warranted a reply. And again, this is just a great way to grab content that you can go ahead and retweet, as well as conversations that you might be able to jump into specific to the makes that you sell. The last one here is going to be for sale. And you may not have a ton in here. This is going to be for those situations where people are selling their vehicle. So we have two options here. Someone that says, someone buy my car. And in this case, what are you looking to sell? Reply. Chances are if he's looking to sell and he wants somebody to buy it, he's going to respond to that. And then you just want to work back and forth to hopefully get him to bring his vehicle in so you can take a look at it and see if you can buy it from him. All right. Jumping over to brand management, we have @you, customers, community, and following. So as I pointed out before, we'll start with following in this case. Following is going to be anybody that you are currently following. So if I'm following someone right now, I will see all of their tweets in here. So you can see these are the different people that I'm currently following right now. If for some reason I choose to no longer follow them, I can mark that as such, and the next time this refreshes, you will no longer see their tweets in this list. And up here at the top, again, you can quickly jump back and forth. I'll jump back to home since that's where I've been doing it. Community right now is going to show you anybody who has an anniversary, a birthday, graduation, any of those sort of life moments will be in here. New babies, things like that. And it's just a way for you to interact with them. For birthdays, birthday's a big one because if it's somebody's birthday, they receive coupons right now from different local vendors. So there's no reason why you can't do that as well. And again, as I mentioned, this is a good place for you to be able to go in, and should you choose, you could say happy birthday to this individual right now. But more importantly, I could reply and I could say, okay, in 2015 at 7 a.m. There we go. Say, happy birthday. Enjoy a 10% off any service coupon. Just show this tweet. There it is. And all I have to do is hit schedule. And when you schedule it, it is now scheduled that message to go out for this particular individual. And you may have the question of, well, where do I see that scheduled message? That's a great question, and that is going to be over here within your post manager right here, which we will get into and you will see later on. So again, community, you're going to see birthdays, anniversaries, new babies, things like that. Customers, anybody that you have marked as a customer you will see in this list. And I don't know that I've marked anybody. Oh, John Smith in this case. I have him marked as a customer. And you can tell, again, by clicking on their name, and you would see, in this case, it says delete customer. If I jump back here to shoppers, as I showed you before, you have the ability on any of these sections to actually go into that particular person's record and mark them as a customer. And as soon as you mark them as a customer, you will then see their tweets starting to show up here in customers. And again, great place to just reply to your customers, to retweet any information that you feel was something you wanted to share. So if they said something great about an experience they had at your store, you're probably going to want to retweet that one. At you. So at you is going to be anybody that mentions you by name out there. Now in this case, you can see this is just a test account that I am using right now. So this would be specifically at your dealership name. And in this case, you can see that the person that I've talked to, in this case, John Smith, same person, you'll see that we are engaged 2 separate times in this case. So again, this would be anybody that is mentioning your name out there on Twitter and soon to be Facebook. And those are the different sections or different pages of both opportunities and brand management. The key again is depending on what the person is saying in each one of these sections, you might want to either engage them or you may want to just retweet information that is out there. Your goal is to make certain that you are not only managing your social brand, but that you are also attempting to engage with individuals. And if they are in fact engaged, as I showed you before, they will appear right here, from which then you can track the conversation, you can easily reply to that person. Notice it goes in order, you can reply to them, you can schedule just like you did before. You'll see whether it's your move or their move down here at the bottom. So that is the key, and then hopefully they'll actually come into your store or they'll send friends into your store. So let's talk about post and post management. So to be able to post to Facebook and or Twitter, it's very easy to do. All you have to do is hit post, and you have the 2 options here. Now it will default to you sending a tweet right now. Notice it says 140 characters remaining. If I also want to post to Facebook at the same time, I can do that. That'll leave it at 140 characters. If I uncheck Twitter, so now I'm just sending it out through Facebook, I do in fact get 2,000 characters. Now in either case, I do have the ability to associate an image to either one of my posts. I also have the ability to include links as well. When you are typing out a link, you do need to include the full link just like this. Okay? Now notice, when I type this out, by default, Twitter will count a link as 22 of your characters. So just keep that in mind. Regardless of the length, it'll be 22 characters within Twitter. And Facebook, it'll just be whatever the length of the URL actually is. So keep that in mind. All right, so I'll go ahead and, for example, I have 2 things I could do. So I could go in here and I could say, all right, I hope everyone is having a great Wednesday. And if I hit post now, that's going to send it out to both Facebook and Twitter. If, however, I say instead of Wednesday, I say Saturday, and I schedule this for Saturday at 7 a.m. Or actually, you know what? Instead of 7 a.m., let's do 1 p.m. There we go. And what I can do is instead of hitting post now, I can hit schedule. And what that'll do now is that will schedule a Facebook post and a tweet to go out at 1 p.m. on Saturday. So your question is, where do I see that? And can I edit that? Yes, you can. So if I come into Post Manager, what you'll be able to see here is you'll see Facebook posts, you'll see Twitter posts, and you'll see all scheduled posts. Now, this is not the one that I just scheduled for Saturday. I had actually done a test before I recorded this, so don't let that throw you off too much there. Twitter posts, same thing. But if you go to scheduled posts, Right here, you'll see here are the two scheduled posts. Now notice we separate them out, and the reason is you may decide you want to edit the Facebook post or you want to edit the tweet. Either way, you can do that, and you can go ahead and save, and that will make the change accordingly. If you decide, however, that you don't want to send this message out, you can go ahead and remove it. By default, on the scheduled posts in the upper right, you'll see here it says next 30 days. That's the view you're looking at. If you want to see all, there are all of the scheduled posts, and in fact, you can see here is that happy birthday that we're going to send out to that customer on 9/3 of 2015. If I want to get rid of that, again, I can hit remove and do OK, and that'll get rid of that. And that is how you manage your posts within ChatterUP. So to wrap things up here, I just want to say thank you again for joining the ChatterUP family. We are always here to help you utilize the system successfully, and if you just keep in mind, your goal, especially when you're starting these conversations with people, is to engage with them, and that might involve empathizing with them, and it might also involve, and almost always will involve, asking them a question to get them to respond back. And then in certain cases, especially like in service, for example, you very much are going to want to add in certain coupons, or maybe it's a link to your service coupon page. Our goal for you is to give you every opportunity that's out there in your area today to try and get them into your store, and also for you to manage your brand out there. So don't be afraid to respond to those messages that people post about you, whether they're good or bad. Don't feel bad about sharing information that you see come in via your community, whether it's saying happy birthday or sharing some interesting news that, hey, one of our customers just had a baby, for example, something like that. So all of that is there at your fingertips. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to call us, send us an email, and we're always here to help. Thank you.